All right, so first up, Tristan. Rip indeed. Rip indeed. For those who don't know, the stream was misbehaving. Okay, so Tristan is like, what are my weakest aspects of an environment piece of my environment pieces, and what are areas that you think I should focus on in order to improve future environments I make? Conversely, what are the biggest strengths, and what would be the next step in getting even better at them? Okay, so environment artist, right? You've got a lot of substance stuff in here. You've got a scene. You've got two scenes. I guess this one's just heavily substance. Let's start back here. So, thanks, Curious, for the link. So this one is 3 years old. So we'll just move forward a little bit. Actually, I'll take one thing that's really good and one thing that's really bad, and then move forward. So I guess in your, let me see in your roughness, I believe this is your roughness. So the bad is that there's not a lot of information in the gaps between the stones. The good is that in your height map, there's a lot of interest of, like, there's a lot of things happening in it. So that's really good. So this is your AO. Oh, this is your height. Wait, what? It's so subtle. I see this now down here. That makes sense now. Okay, so your AO looks good. Your height, it's crazy how subtle it is. I guess it's so subtle because you're having your stones come up so much. I think that's probably the weakness then. So if we look at this, I assume that the range at which you're cranking your height map is going beyond the 0 to 1 range that Substance has by default. If you can work inside of that range, you'll end up having a better range in your roughness or in your height map. I guess it's good that the AO is so detailed though. Dude, this song's creeping me out, man. I don't know about that. This is some random playlist, so this might not work out for us. So, in general, this one's pretty good, especially for 3 years ago. Let's see what progress has been made. So this is 3 years ago as well. It's an interesting camera angle. I like how these paintings are portrayed on the wall. I think for me, what's lacking is, oh, this feels very placed. So like the way that graffiti shows up on walls and stuff, because I'm assuming this is spray painted on here. Like trying to get that smear or the drip of wet paint from a spray can. Like totally, like if you want to get really hardcore about it, you can go and get spray cans and actually spray on some paper. You're gonna have to try a couple different types of paper, but practice spray painting and actually writing what you want to say. And you'll get the drips exactly how you want, and just treat that as a mask. So white paper, black paint. Yeah, fear. I think that's the problem. Nice to see you, by the way. Hello. Yeah, and then just the lack of little micro propping to sell, like, so if this is canceled, I guess this place is supposed to be messier. Like there's like buckets and cleaning and stuff like that. So I'd expect maybe paper on the ground and trash in the corners, the trash can tipped over and stuff spilled out. And maybe a little bit more defacing of the property. I don't know though. And then up here, geometry wise, it's a little low. The plus side though is it's interesting. Like you don't really see this type of, man, this music. I don't know about this. Hang on, sorry. We're gonna go in the other direction, Deus Ex music. So, hey face melt, hello. Beck, how's it going? Derp, hello. So it is really red, but I like the red. and the scene is pretty interesting. I think the arches are a little too close to that gap there, right at the in the U.S. we call that crown molding. So you have your baseboard or floor molding. Thank you for the follow. Curious. Also, thanks for the resub. It says it twice. I'm not sure how that happened. Oh, this is nice. That's nice detail. Okay. Sorry, we should move forward. Concrete breakdown, substance design. So this is 3 years ago as well. It's pretty good. I'm trying to... Oh, nice. This is with your mentorship with Josh. So I'm trying to figure out why it looks like, is this supposed to be on the ground or is this more of like a wall? I think it's a ground material. I think adding another element of life would probably help this, like either little twigs or trash that people would have accidentally or naturally placed, like cigarette butts and stuff like that. But I don't know the exact context of it. Oh, this one's pretty interesting. Oh, I like this one. So this one has like a really nice depth, and I like the difference in texture, the smooth surface versus like the more harsh, rough materials. Aha, more follows. Mr. Asmodee, thank you for the follow. John Wick, oh my gosh. Sir. How you doing? Thanks for the follow. Oh, I always like it when they do breakdowns too. Super cool. Let's keep going here. So this one looks pretty extreme. It's gravel. So this looks more like the stone that you'd find at like the bottom of a fish tank, I guess just because of the kind of like the teal color in the stones. Like the color palette of the stones is leading me to that feeling. I'm so happy that you put these here. I didn't see them at first, but I'm happy that these are here. Because sometimes you see an image like that and you have no idea. Stubbles, you sweating? You sweating, bro? Don't sweat, man. Yeah, your computer. You'll get electrocuted if you sweat too much. But yeah, I like it when these are all placed here. So that I can actually tell. Because sometimes... You know, sometimes they look very similar. It's interesting, too, with the highlights and the albedo. I feel like I'm yelling. Am I yelling? Oh, man, the texture on this is dope. So this looks really good. I think the albedo is probably the weaker part of it, just because of it looks better here, but like it's very noisy, and I think the noise, is it coming from the normal? It must be coming from that normal information, but it just feels really noisy. Like here it looks pretty good. Yeah, I think there's a lot of noise in your albedo. So maybe like averaging out that noise so it's more of a mid-tone. It can still have that variety, but being more like not having so many peaks will probably visually be easier to look at for longer. So it's not like hard on your eyes. Because where you want the detail to really shine through is in these, where are we at here? In these little areas here, right? And then the areas of rest are these big blank spots. Snow. Hello, snow. This looks, that's pretty accurate. Oh, that's really interesting. Yeah, so making the little like specks of really reflective. You get that little shimmer that you get in snow. It's cool. I mean, this looks pretty good to me. I think one thing that you could do to really push it over the top and make it feel like snow right off of the bat is having like that trail of footprints that goes through it that really displaces and kind of powders up the snow. And you can see like the scraping of feet in the snow as they go through, and it'll show the depth, which will really like push it to the top. Oh man, snow breakdown. I almost started dancing. I'm sorry. So this one's pretty cool. So this is 2 years ago. Still getting through it. nice mixing between materials. I think where this one is suffering is that the roughness is very like similar. So music's a little loud for me. Hey Pontus, how you doing? Do we always have to make breakdowns for materials? No, I don't think so. I mean, if you're especially proud of what you've done, or people are asking a lot in the comments about how you did something, then I mean a breakdown makes sense. But like I was saying with this, the roughness range is very shallow. I guess like you have really reflective surfaces, which is the puddles and the wetness, right? But then it goes immediately to dry. Like the dirt should be more mud-like with this kind of wetness, right? So the visual properties of the mud or the dirt should look more like mud, so it should be softer. It should be more saturated because of porosity, deeper in value, and just behave a lot more like you would expect mud to behave, so like really reflective and kind of shiny. And then where the stone is meeting the dirt or mud, where there's puddles and it makes sense, then you'd have the stone get a little bit more richer in color, and the value go a little bit lower, so that you can show that the rock is wet as well. So right now it's just like, it's, you know what it looks like when a surface is frozen. Elysium, what's up? Hey guys. Was that Lureska? How you doing? I really like the addition of the foliage in this one, and the way it's kind of scattered about seems like it would really benefit from just being mixed into here. So like having a few around the puddles, but then more so in the rocks and the crevices here. So you get clear definition of like where it becomes really muddy, and then where it's more like solidified, and the stone is kind of like cemented itself in place, where, you know, the grass can actually thrive and not get like moved around by the mud so much. This in general though looks pretty good. Oh yeah. Man, this is really interesting. So there's a lot of breakdowns happening in here. Wow, this one's really cool. I love the color variation in the blades of grass. So, you know, like some grass has like it looks like it hasn't gotten enough sun. Like if you pick up a barrel and there's grass under it and the grass is almost white, it's like lost all of its pigmentation because it's not receiving direct sunlight. So it's dying, man. It's dying, but it's holding on. So yeah, I really like these kind of mixtures. Oh, that's cool. So there's a lot in here. Wow. I feel like this maybe could be broken up into a few other pieces. This is a standard material with a nice touch. The roughness is really good on it, and the additions of a few cracks. This crack pattern I see every time. We love that three-way break. Doing something to it to try and make it different from everyone else's three-way crack. That sounds ridiculous. Everyone's got three-way cracks, guys. It's strange, but it's real. If you can find a way to make that a little bit different from everyone else's, you'd be in a good spot. Super nice roughness. Just really interesting. Hee crack. Three-way cracks, guys. I don't know what I'm saying. All right, so this one's 9 months ago. So what I really like about this is the directional patterns that are happening, not only in the albedo, but in the displacement as well in your height map. Because like I've said in a lot of other streams, rocks they're layers, right? Layers of sediment crushed together with different attributes of materials inside of each layer. And that roughness is really interesting. So I guess the cracks are the least rough, and then okay. So the thing I would say that bugs me the most is there's cracks that kind of go in more of the patterns that you see in the procedural maps that you start with, that are just kind of seem like they're overlaid over the top of this. I think using the height map of the stone in the end result, and then using that as a way to displace the cracks a little bit, can help break up that pattern to follow more closely the actual stone shapes. Like, because down in this area, it's proving to work pretty well. And I guess over here, because it's more smooth compared to the rest, it works. But like, you think like these cracks are very, from crack to crack is very even in distances. So it starts to look like manufactured, if that makes sense. Oh man, that's a moss. That's a moss, yo. That's some nice looking moss. I like your moss. So the only thing I think I would say here is the saturation is super high, but that displacement with the little leaves and stuff in there, dude. Is there a way to get closer? Oh my gosh, there is. Man, that looks that looks good. I really like that. So you can get the shadowing effect if you're using Damas. You can get the shadowing effect with self-shadowing parallax occlusion mapping. So that way you don't have to pay too much for the tessellation and you'll still get the shadows in here from your directional light. Super nice. Super nice looking. That's awesome. Let's see what else is going on here. This one actually looks a little bit more, wait a minute. Oh, that's odd. Like, this looks more saturated. Ooh. Yeah, see that AO? That's where it's at, man. Really like fakes the volume, right? Because you see into the little crevices of the little, I don't even know what you call them, moss things. Yeah, the addition of the sticks is also really good. I think what could push it just a little bit more, and it's kind of back and forth between people. Oh my gosh, it's the end of the 15 minutes. It's back and forth between what studio you're talking to, or like how Tech Art views it, or how Art Direction wants to approach it. But in your albedo, pushing a little bit of the AO into it is really going to help it when the material is in direct light. Because when it's in direct light, it's going to look like this. When you don't have that glancing angle and you can't see the roughness and it's not displacing, you're not going to get any shadows. You're not going to see your roughness playing with the light. So like if you can get this to have a little bit of depth with AO in the albedo, it's really going to help. I think what you could do to alleviate the issue of it being AO in your albedo is giving it a color that maybe is like either more rich or lower in value. So it kind of is like AO, but it's color. It's not actual lighting. And then let's look at this guy, because this is a scene. So this one is really good. I think that your materials have gotten better. I think, let's see here. So this is a little odd in shape, but I think, let's see what I think the way it's used in the scene works, because it looks like you're using it in quite a large scale. Where it is weakest, in my opinion, is the color variety in the foliage, and then the fullness of the foliage, like in these like small trees. Watching out for those and making sure that they have the detail or fidelity that you would expect for the size of them is important. And then you don't really seem to have any like, so you've got small plants, you got medium, large, and then large, but you don't have like bushes to help fill the scene very much. It's like getting that volume in there. Raj, what's up, man? I like the cables. They do feel a little on the melted side, like around here. Variety on the ground is pretty good, though. Nice breakup and whatnot. Some materials look pretty cool. They're definitely more stylized, but I think it fits the scene that you're portraying. So, oxygen. Those are tubes of oxygen. So Fear says some people do 25, 70, or 50-50 on the AO. So you multiply it into the diffuse or albedo and then remove it with equal strength from the AO. That surface is really interesting looking. So it's like lichen. But yeah, and then a breakdown of how you set up all the materials and material functions in here. Dude, nice. Super nice. So I think I want to just see more scenes from you, because your materials have definitely stepped up in quality as you've gone on. And it's just more about, like, if you want to be an environment artist, like how to best show that is through showing your compositional skills and lighting skills. Compositionally, this one's pretty strong, and I like that this is over here and not like centered up. The cable's leading your eye that direction. And then it's just about filling the scene up and making it feel more natural, and I think you're good to go. Dude, there's fish just chilling here. Just dead chilling. Dead chilling. Don't even know, man. Yeah, and I mean, keep pushing on your materials. Think about how foliage ages. Because, like, not all leaves are going to be the same, like, saturation, right? Dead chillin'. That's a new one. I haven't said that one before. What am I even doing? Oh, it's because I have my coffee over here and I haven't started drinking it yet. All right. Well, we've come to the end of your portfolio. I want to see more scenes so I can understand your compositional and lighting scene quality. Like, I want to see where you're at with that stuff. This looks pretty promising, and I assume because this is 6 months old and it says you're at a studio, you're probably quite busy now. So some new stuff's going to show up soon, I'm sure. All right, I'm going to get the next portfolio ready, and I will be right back. And yes, I'm still making coffee.